Hi, everybody. Again, it's Todd and Jeremiah with Talk Fort Dodge, and we're here today with County Supervisor and person extraordinaire, Nicki Conrad.
Person extraordinaire.
I had to think of something.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah. She does so much in the community. We appreciate everything she does, between County Supervisor and RAGBRAI Committee and all this other stuff. We just wanted to take a few minutes today and talk to her and let everybody know what's going on in Fort Dodge with Nicki. So, Nicki, first of all, thanks for being here. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself just to get started?
Oh, I'm so excited. Thank you guys for inviting me. This is really cool that you're doing this. I am born and raised in Fort Dodge. I'm just real quickly, I moved away when I was a late teen to go off to school. Lived in Chicago and New York for a little bit, and then decided to move back 6-7 years ago. And one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And I'm really glad to be back home. It just feels like home, and excited to be contributing to the community.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So one of the big things going on is RAGBRAI.
Yes.
What do you know about RAGBRAI? What's going on?
I know a lot about RAGBRAI. We are officially coming to town. I know there were some questions about whether RAGBRAI was going to go or not. Last year, as you know, we had been scheduled to host RAGBRAI, and that didn't happen. So we were lucky enough to be chosen to host overnight guests here on Monday, July 26th, and it's now official. Perfect. And so we've got the website up. We've got some frequently asked questions up on the website, and we've already started having regular meetings. We are not to point the fingers at the two of y'all, but we are looking for some chairs to host committees. So if you're interested, you or anybody who's watching, if you're interested in chairing some committees, we've got a housing committee, volunteer committee, hospitality committee. We're looking for some good people to do that. Or if you're just interested in volunteering, just in general, just let me know.
Okay.
It is amazing about how much goes on for one day.
Yes, there's a lot of moving pieces, and I'm but a small part. And even then, like, I just got out of our little team meeting that we have, and there's a lot going on, but it's exciting.
So can you give us any details? Yeah. Where's it going to be at? Do you know any of that stuff? We're in town. Where does it come in? Where does it leave?
I'm not exactly sure about the complete route at this moment, but we're really going to focus on the downtown area and the riverfront. We've got this beautiful riverfront with the Des Moines River, and it's a shame that we just don't feature it more often than we do. So we're looking to get folks in that area, and then we'll pull them up through the downtown area for vendors and some entertainment, some food and beverage, and a bunch of shenanigans, I'm sure. It's RAGBRAI.
And they were here 6 years ago, so all of them that are coming over and over again are going to see such a big change downtown. It's so different than it was 6 years ago. So thank you for showcasing that part of Fort Dodge and guiding them through that. So that's awesome.
That's crazy that was 6 years ago.
I know.
No kidding. It was right when I moved back, and I was like, let's jump in and get going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Nicki, what do you know about the clock tower? Can you tell us about the clock tower? What do you know about it? What's going on with that?
I do know a little about it. Have you looked up lately? Have you been downtown and looked up lately?
I have.
I go in that building almost every day.
You forget copper starts out gold.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful gold. Yeah.
So the scaffolding around that area of the courthouse has been stripped away. It's being stripped away, and we're seeing that iconic clock tower that we all know and love. And the way that they strategically placed, the copper that we had on there before with that beautiful green patina and this bright, shiny new gold copper that we have now is really lovely. So it looks very symmetrical, and it's really great what they're doing there. And we're looking for the rest of it, we're looking for a late spring completion date for the full project. That includes the roof. So they're taking off the slate that's on the roof right now, and they're popping up this really great slate-like material that's going to last a long time. And then it'll be done just in time to show it off to all the folks coming in from RAGBRAI.
Oh, that'll be so cool. You need to get some signs up there, some big posters to say this is what it was, this is what it is now. You know, it's historic because in 6 to 10 years when they come back again, it's not going to be gold. It's going to have that patina to it.
Right.
I love that, you know, Statue of Liberty started gold. Can you imagine seeing that in New York Harbor when it was still gold? And
That's
talking to us like green, and that's all we know. So kind of something neat to think about. So I made the mistake of texting
I just learned something today.
Nicki.
What did you learn?
That the Statue of Liberty was gold.
Oh.
It started that way.
I never knew that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then it patinaed to green.
My education on Statue of Liberty had to do with Ghostbusters. So I thought it walked and everything. If you played music and sprayed it with some goo. Sorry.
That's altogether possible.
I know.
So I made the mistake of texting Nicki on Saturday to see if she'd be on this. And she goes, sure, but I'm doing something right now, so I'll get back with you later. And to find out she was at the COVID vaccination clinic at the mall helping out.
Yeah, I was a little busy.
Yeah, it was such a great thing. My mom was there, so I appreciate that. She was. So tell us how that's going.
Oh my God, it's going so well. I can't speak more highly of the way public health has really nailed these vaccination clinics. So the one that we had last Saturday was for dose number 2.
Yep.
So these folks came in who had been there a month previous, and they came in, they got their second dose, and the level of relief that you saw on these people's faces, their bodies literally just looked like they were relieved to have gotten this over with, that they could put it behind them, and that they could hopefully soon start going back to a little more of our normal life, right? Yep. Governor Reynolds swung up by here to take a look personally. She was incredibly impressed, as well she should be. And
she talked about it in her press release.
Yeah, she said we were outstanding examples of communities working together and leveraging their unique strengths, which I agree with that. And as a result, the governor has received a large allocation to the state from Pfizer. And so she specifically named Carrie Prescott, who's our head of the health department, and the health department here in Webster County for some of the allocations. So we're going to receive 1,175, give or take, doses of Pfizer. And we're also going to get 600 doses of Moderna. So that's, okay, math, just a little under 18, doses for next week. And we're planning, I say we, like I have anything to do with it. They're planning a mass clinic on March 18th. And they're going to have some details, to come about that. But their plan is to vaccinate 360 people an hour for 5 straight hours. Now, if you think about it, the vaccination clinics that we've had, the biggest ones have been about 90 people an hour. So that's quite a big jump, and I'm really excited to see how they do that. I have every faith in them. I'm just so proud of our health department for these vaccination clinics. It
just gives me the chills.
So
thinking we're going to get 1,800 people vaccinated, and all those people here, and finally, my mom's counting down the days to her 2 weeks so she can hang out with my 2 grandkids or her great grandkids. She goes, I just want to hold them so bad. It's been so long, and thanks for being a part of that. That's just so cool.
Well, just all the stories I mean, how bad they want it, and how you just said, like, to see their faces after they get that second shot. Because I just know, like, some of my family members and whatever. I got goosebumps when you said that, because it's like, oh my gosh, it is a big relief.
Me too.
It kind of makes them feel like normalcy is almost here.
Around
it's like
the corner.
It's close.
Yeah.
So it sounds terrible to say this way, but we are 52 weeks into our 2-week lockdown.
Oh my God, I know. It's been a year since they announced it was a pandemic today.
I know. We're having St. Patrick's Day again at Shiny Top. Not that I'm putting that in there, but this Saturday. And it was a year ago, St. Patrick's Day. We had it on Saturday, and they shut us all down on Tuesday. So I keep thinking about that. I'm like, it's been a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see this. You're in the max vaccination clinics. You're in the public eye. You're in the county supervisor meetings. You talk to public health.
Yeah.
When do you see the world being normal again, or somewhat normal? I know there's a new normal, but
that's the weird part, right? Like this new normal. Like we're just having to all adapt. Like as a collective human race, we're just all having to adapt to this weirdness. It's so bizarre. And so I've really been trying to follow Dr. Fauci and the CDC a lot. And because I mean, like, I don't have a medical background. I don't know, you know, I'm not an epidemiologist. So I looked into this, and he basically says we can't know for certain, which is kind of a crap answer. Like, nobody wants to hear that. You know what I mean? Like,
tell me August, you know?
Right. Like, tell me Thanksgiving is going to be normal, you know, at least tell me that, but he can't, which I get, but the goal is just to keep going down a baseline so that that the numbers are so low that there's virtually no threat. You know, there's that herd immunity type thing. And that just happens through a combination of getting people this vaccination and getting the level of virus in the community so low. So in order to do that, we just got to keep vaccinating people the way that we have been, and keep wearing the dang masks everywhere we go, and socially distancing and washing our hands and getting those shots in arms. But personally, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm really happy about the things we're doing here locally. I can't speak for the rest of the state or the rest of the country or the rest of the world, but I'm optimistic about the stuff that we're doing here with getting the vaccinations and making sure people are just doing the right things. And I've said this a lot lately. So the vaccines are this beautiful, bright light at the end of this horrific, disgusting tunnel that we're in, right? And we all see it and we're like, yes, but we still have a lot of tunnel to go through. So we just got to keep our eyes on the prize. And I have no doubt that this community can do it. We rally around people all the time. So it's just a matter of just rallying around and just getting to that finish line. And I have faith in us.
Yep.
Yay.
Awesome.
Yeah, you know, talk about the new norm. You know, they say 21 days it takes to break a habit. It's been a whole year, and it's still hard to not run up to people and shake their hand.
You know? I'm a hugger, Jeremiah. I am a hugger, and it pains me. Like at the vaccination clinics, I'm seeing like my parents' friends and old family friends and people I know, and I just want to be like, hi. I haven't seen you for a year, but I can't. It's so weird.
Yep. Yeah. And now you almost have to think twice about just tapping them on the shoulder. You're like, oh, is that too much? Like,
yeah, let me get the hand sanitizer out now. I guess. Yeah.
I'm good. I promise.
Right.
No. So, switching gears, county supervisor. I know that's a big job. There's a lot to it. It's probably more than what you thought when you took it. But how has your life changed being a county supervisor? Just to think about that for a minute.
Oh man, you know, I had an idea of what I signed up for when I ran for office. You know, you have this idea of like your life is going to be a lot less private. And I tell people, if you really want to know what people in the community think about you, honestly, run for office. Because the next thing, like, it's like, hey, I'm running for office. And the next thing you know, like some guy you went to preschool with is like, I hate her. She's horrible. Yeah. And you're like, come on, bro.
Used to suck her thumb all the way up to third grade.
She's horrible. She looked at me wrong in fourth. Yeah, exactly. But
the day you got elected, half the county hates you.
Yeah, they're like, well, I mean, I guess it's fine. I can handle it. But you know, you expect that kind of stuff, right? You expect people to question you, and I've always tried to do this just in general, to live a life that would make my family proud, particularly my nieces and nephews. But now it's heightened. And I really want to be a good example to folks in the community because I represent them, you know? So, and I take that incredibly seriously. I don't always get it right. And I'm likely harder than myself than anybody else would be. But when I do get it wrong, I try to correct it. Now, that said, I knew that the job was going to be a lot of boards and commissions. I knew that it was going to be a lot of meetings. I knew all of that. But then all of a sudden, a year into it, it's like, hey, not only do you have to adapt to that, but here's, you know, we're just going to throw a global pandemic on top of it too.
Yeah, here you go.
So it's like now you're having to, you know, now I'm having to deal with like, okay, I have this responsibility of making decisions for the greater good of the community under pressure from, you know, it ranges from people who think the virus doesn't exist to people who have lost people with the virus, you know, and it's like this added level of A, what did I get myself into? And B, okay, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And how do we adapt what we've been doing to this new normal and this new kind of crazy once in a century thing that all of us are having to jump into and not know how to deal with. You know, this happens and you're just like, okay, close the bars. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later you're like, okay, well, is there a less severe reaction, you know? And it's just you all see this. It's been a constant adapting to what we are learning, because we're constantly learning. We're in the middle of history.
Still learning.
We're making it. Yeah, exactly. So
we went into this a big question mark, and it's still a big question mark because the research isn't there, and it can't be until this is all over.
Exactly. So to answer your question, it's life has changed quite a bit, but you know, it's all good. I'm happy with it. I'm really enjoying working as a supervisor and representing folks. I really do love it.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being there.
Yeah.
And last question, we got a couple minutes left. And I just have to ask, because it's been in the spotlight so much lately, is Harry and Meghan. What do you think?
Oh, man. You know how at the beginning of the pandemic, it was like everybody was like pandemic fever, like, and everyone was stressed. And then it was like Netflix came along and was like, Tiger King.
Yeah.
Let's take your mind off of it. Here's the
He's
Tiger
more crazy
King.
than I'll ever be.
Right. Like, okay, I can focus on something outside of the wildness that is my life. I feel like that's kind of what happened here. But, you know, that in all seriousness, they make a really good point that just because somebody looks like they're really happy on the outside doesn't mean that they necessarily are. And I would be remiss not to take this opportunity to let people who are watching know, you know, if you do have suicidal ideation or if you need help, there's the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. And then there's also Your Life Iowa, which is a really great resource for a lot of different things, not only suicidal thoughts, but also if you're struggling with addiction, mental health problems, bullying. And then if you have family members who have any of those issues as well, there's support groups there too. But British monarchy, man,
thank God we got to look at it from this side of the pond.
I know. You just like it's like watching like this train wreck happen and you're just like, oh, all right.
I know we're on the third season of The Crown, so that's our education right now and everything going on. It's just
I haven't started watching that. You must like it if you're on your third season.
It's good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's all we have. We're about out of time, and we want to thank you so much for being here today and talking to everybody and going live with us.
Yeah.
And kind of getting all this out there. And thanks for everything you do in the community, and keep doing it. And
it's my pleasure.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, you do so much in the community of Fort Dodge, and we're glad you came back to Fort Dodge. So
I'm glad I did too. Thank you both, and the same to both of you as well. I always see you out and about, and Todd, you've got your hand in a bunch of different projects, and it's really exciting. So St. Patrick's Day is shining up.
Yep, we'll be there. All right, thanks, guys.